So we're really excited for having three distinguished panelists with us today. They are all amazing and very important key players in the scene of employability skills. If it is okay, I will start with the ladies. Today with us is Dr. Bothaina Al-Ansari. She's one of the Qatar's leading strategic planning and human development advisors, and she's a prominent figure in Qatar's business circles. She has ranked 19th in Arabian Business Magazine's list of most powerful women in the Middle East. And she is a key driving force behind strategic and operational effectiveness for some of Qatar's leading industries. Except from that, Dr. Bothaina is an entrepreneur and a senior advisor in Bitcoin Consultation. She's also the chairman advisor of her family business, the Just Real Estate, and has previously been the acting human resources director at the Qatari Investment Authority and the senior human resources director at Ooredoo. She received her doctorate in business administration from Nottingham Trent University in the UK, in addition to a master's degree in strategic planning from the American University in Cairo in 2008 and an MBA from Qatar University in 2006. Our next panelist is Mr. Amar Benaissa. Amar has extensive experience in youth outreach program management and more than 10 years of career in corporate and investment banking. In April 2013, he was appointed as Director of Operations of the Junior Achievement Office in Doha. He started his involvement with Injaz Qatar in 2011 as a volunteer, delivering a financial literacy program to university and college students. And he still holds this position as Director of Programs, where he was responsible for implementing career readiness, finance, and entrepreneurship programs to youth from age 8 to 24. Mr. Benaissa has also occupied several part-time and volunteering teaching and lecturing positions in high schools and universities. And his areas of teaching interest include financial markets, balance sheet management, business ethics, and business English. Amar holds a Master's of Science in Finance from the University of Leicester in the UK and a bachelor's degree with honours in management from Manchester Business School, the University of Manchester in the UK. He's a fluent speaker of English, French, and Arabic. And last but not least, another amazing lady in the panel, Ms. Tanya Abbott, is a qualified HR professional with over 14 years of experience in both the oil and gas and mining resources industries. While she has worked in a variety of HR roles over her career, she is particularly experienced in the areas of early to mid-career professional learning and development, recruitment, compensation, benefits, and mobility management. Driven by her passion to provide HR solutions which embrace individual differences, she is an advocate for diversity and inclusion in her organization. Currently employed as an HR advisor at ConocoPhillips, she earned her business degree from Edith Cowan University in Western Australia. Tanya moved to Qatar from Perth, Australia, with her husband Jason in June 2019. So, big welcome again to everyone, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to reiterate that. I will begin with the questions, and I'd like to apologize that you might not be able to see me. I am experiencing some technical difficulties. So I am definitely here, but I apologize you might not be able to see me. So let's go ahead and kick off with the first question I'd like to ask the three of you. So in your opinion, how important are soft skills for the success of the workplace? So Dr. Bothaina, we'll start with you.
Dr. Bothaina, you're muted.
Okay. So again,
Excellent.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashraf al-mursaleen. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me for discussing the importance of the soft skills for your students in HBQU. and I would like to thank you for your collaboration between QCDC and Hamad bin Khalifa University to initiate such a wonderful topic to discuss among us today. Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Forum Economic in Davos, he said in 2015 there will be a fourth industrial revolution in the world, and we have to prepare ourselves to be ready. Sectors, whether medical sector, education, trade, finance, banking sector, all of us have to be ready to face these challenges and grab the opportunities of today and equip ourselves with the tools that will enable us to survive in the massive changes which is coming few years from now. So the competition in the future among staff in different organizations will not compete only their colleagues from a human being, because a lot of artificial intelligence will attack us, and robots will become our friends and our team player in our workforces. So the dilemma and the understanding of soft skills will heavily change. 180 degree will change from now. So what we need as a soft skills will be more important in the future than the hard skills. Everybody aware hard skills, that the skills that you will gain during your education and during any studying programs and training programs. So hard skills, anything related to technical skills, math, chemistry, physics, understanding these subjects. But when we come to the future, let's say 2030, if most of you now at the age of studying or they want to change their job, the needs of soft skills will be changed. The understanding of soft skills will not anymore that listed 15 soft skills in 2015. Maybe the ranking of the soft skills will be changed, but the importance of different skills will come up to the ladder, not like what we have now. So later on, I will speak which soft skills that we need to be to have it during our working or during our study. But the importance of the soft skills, again, it is shaping your personality. It's shaping your way of communicate with others, your pitching of any, let's say, project, how you can understand others, how you can drive your team, how you can be a leader among your team. These soft skills, we will talk about it in deeply later on, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bothaina. Amar?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? First, I have to check. Can you hear me and see me? Okay,
Great.
very good. So, hi, everyone. It feels great to be here with you. I'm very pleased to be with you, with the panelists, the students, the team from HBKU and QCDC. Thank you so much for the invite. I would like to echo what Dr. Bothaina said, in the sense that soft skills, or what is known as transferable skills, are critical in the success of the workplace. And the power of soft skills is that they are important before you enter the workplace, during the workplace, and even after you're done with the workplace, especially if you want to change jobs or if you want to look for other opportunities. And the other power, the second power of soft skills, is that they don't have an age. So you can learn them at any age in your life. And this is what probably in our organization, Injaz, and Junior Achievement Worldwide, we managed to prove, like with numbers and statistics. In fact, we found that the earlier you start learning soft skills, the better or the more likely you will be successful in entering the professional world. So they're extremely critical. And the matter of the fact is that we usually tend to highlight hard or technical skills. When we're speaking in general, when we talk about careers, we always talk about having a degree, being good at all the technical stuff, but we usually tend to downplay the soft skills, But the matter of the fact is that they are as important as technical skills, and sometimes I personally even go further. I would say that they are more important than technical or hard skills. I mean, I remember from my interviews, the interviews that I conducted, and I must have done maybe hundreds of interviews, both when I was working for Citibank, so in the industry, in the profit sector, and also during my time at Injaz, which is the non-profit sector. And I can tell you that probably when I received the CV, I would look 50% on your technical and soft skills. But during the interview, which is such a critical phase of choosing an employee or given like a job opportunity to the employee, during the interview, we are, or at least I speak about myself, I am more concerned about you as a person, at your behavior during the interview, at your attitude, the way you communicate, do you use your body language? Do I see a team player in you when I ask you the questions? And even I invite you to go and check the common questions that people ask in interviews. And I invite you to go there and categorize them, put which questions are soft skills and which questions are technical skills. I'm sure most of you will put most of the questions in the soft skills category. So to conclude, extremely important soft skills, especially during the workplace. If later you want to get promoted, you want to ask for a salary increase, believe me, employers, they look at how you behave more than, I mean, they are both important, your technical performance, but how you behave is also very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amar. Tanya, will you step in?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for the invitation to be on the panel for this wonderful subject, which is close to my heart. I've spent a lot of years in recruitment and early career management, so I can say from experience that soft skills are absolutely crucial to success in the modern workplace. You know, we often say that technical skills can be taught, but soft skills are much more difficult and they need to be learned. It takes a lifelong commitment to be able to do these things well. But if as an employer you can find the right person for the role with these right soft skills, then you can train them to do almost any role. Things like communication and interpersonal skills, problem solving, they're much harder to find and much more important. Employers really value soft skills because they enable people to not just function but also thrive in teams and organisations. And from your perspective, soft skills are soft skills are an investment in time and in you and your career that will always be worthwhile. And I think building on what Amar said about interviews and the importance of soft skills, I know when we look at job applicants, we always have an education requirement, but then we also have soft transferable skills. And when you get down to doing your top shortlisted candidates, we're more focused on how they communicate, how they work in a team, you know, what comes across from their resume or cover letter that really gives us a feeling for that person and what they might be like. And then following on from that in the interview, you'll often find questions that aren't, what can you do? But give us an example of how you went about it. And that is where the soft skills come in.
Thank you all so much for that. And I think we heard a resounding yes, that soft skills are very important. So moving on to the next question. What specific soft skills do you find to be most important? So Dr. Bothaina, we will start with you.
Like I said previously, the soft skills is shaping your character, your way of dealing among your friends, your colleague, how to drive the teamwork. So basically, I did a lot of research and reading about the latest study and research done by Deloitte and Stanford University 2019-2018 about the most important listed soft skills that should we train our people in different organizations, and also it should be mapped to the objective or main objective of any, let's say, strategic vision of any country. Especially in Qatar, alhamdulillah, we have Qatar Vision 2030. It consists of 4 pillars. The first pillar is talking about investing in human capital. So developing human capital in Qatar, it's a vital tool to handle all the responsibility and mega projects in 2022 and 2030. So they talked in Deloitte research, it was among 1,600 CEOs from 93 countries, the most important soft skills with the new era, fourth revolution industrial. The ranking of soft skills, as I said before, it's different now. So the number one is communication, how you can communicate with your boss, with your colleague, with your competitors. This is very important tools to have a communication skills within your eye contact, face-to-face interview, body language, name it under the communication skills. Also now the emotion intelligence become very important now. In 2015, it was ranking at number 7 among 15 soft skills. Now it moves to number 2, emotion intelligence. And then since we are talking about industrial revolution and competing with artificial intelligence system and reports, it is very important that this character is missing within the machines, the system, the robots, and artificial intelligence understanding. So people, as a human being, there are characteristics by innovation and creativity. So this is very important tool to have it, and you can read about it. There are lots of books talking about innovation and creativity, because this will enable you to position yourself among your colleagues, front of your boss, bringing new ideas, having a new things to be understood from your end, among others. So creativity and innovation, it's very, very, very important. Also, they talked about how to do problem solving, since we are facing a lot of challenges, how we can grab opportunities from others, and taking the credit of us as a staff in any company or organization. So problem solving, initiating solutions and projects that will take your company from one level to the next level or higher level, it is also very, very important. And also there is a character that really, it is from the list from 2015, talking about how you can open to learn new things. And always my advice to, let's say, students within universities or newcomers for any company, keep learning. You have to gain the knowledge now, especially and between 2013 2015, the amount of the information in the university is increased by 12 hours, because in 1950 and going on, the data was increasing every 50 years. But recently, the research saying the information, they call it the mega or the big data now, is available in everywhere, and you can reach it from any platform. So the critical way of thinking and analyzing things, this is very important for the newcomers to the labor market. So be open to learn from different sectors, different platforms. This is really very important. also how to be, let's say, among your colleagues or your front of your senior people. You have to have your own way of pitching and understanding the problem. And these all coming from where? From readings and from attending a lot of, let's say, gathering that talk about how to initiate ideas and how to initiate a solution for different subjects and different issues among the staff. This is some of the importance of soft skills for 2030. We talked about it during the Economic World Forum in Davos. And also there was a study held by Stanford University. They listed over 15 soft skills: integrity, effective communication, open-mindedness, teamwork, creativity, problem solving, critical thinking, and organization and empathy. And these are very important because we are looking for the future and what is happening now. And we talked about the fourth industrial revolution that is going on now, and we have to be ready for it.
Thank you, Dr. Bothaina. I think as far as I'm concerned, almost all soft skills are important. It's very difficult to pinpoint which ones are more important to others. And also it varies from an industry to another. So different industries require or the importance of the soft skills changes depending on the industry you are in. It also varies on your phase, whether you are an entry-level worker or you are a medium experienced person or you are a very senior person, whether you are a student, fresh graduate, whether you're still young before graduation. So all these things play a role in determining which ones are more important than others. But if I have to think about you, our students, university students, fresh, about to go to start working or about to apply for universities, maybe for postgraduate studies, I would say communication is number one. Communication skills are very, very important. Always try to take in and listen and use that as an ingredient in your output, in what you have to say back. A good articulator, so you have to articulate well. I think I heard Ms. Page in her presentation talk about it. So having the skills is important, but if you cannot articulate them, then as if it will be as if you don't have them. And third, last but not least, writing skills. So simple things like knowing how to write an email, a good email is important. How to write a business letter, how to write a CV, how to write a report. These are very, very important, I found from my experience in the workplace. The second important soft skill for me is problem solving. And why do we talk about problem solving? I mean, Dr. Bothaina explained very well the need for this skill. Always remember, when you are trying to find a job and put yourself in the shoes of the employers. Why do you think companies hire people? Usually, we hire people because there is a role or there is a need, okay? Or because we have certain problems to solve, okay? So I'm hiring you not just to fill a desk, to sit in the desk and I give you a salary. No, I'm hiring you because I have a problem somewhere. I have a need somewhere. So if you are not a problem solver, if you are a person who is easily discouraged by obstacles and challenges, then you're not going to fit, you're not going to succeed. And I always say that there are two types of people. There are the people who, when you give them a challenge or a task, and the first obstacle they face, they will come straight back to you. Okay, and they say, okay, I cannot do it because there's this obstacle. And there's the second type of people who, if you give them a task and they find an obstacle, they try to solve it. They try to find a way of how to solve it before coming back to you. You are the last resort. They don't by default come back to you. And my advice to you is be the second type, okay? Because these are the type of people that more likely they will persist and keep their job and develop in their job. So be dependable and be a problem solver. The third and last skill, because I thought of 3 skills, is a skill which is becoming now more and more important, which is IT skills. And as you know, because of the situation we are living in now, everybody is now using technology. Today now, probably if it wasn't for COVID, we would be meeting face to face in some of the nice meeting rooms in QCDC. So now we are obliged to use technology. So try to develop that skill, learn how to use Cisco WebEx meetings, learn how to use Zoom, learn how to use Microsoft Teams, develop all your Microsoft Office skills. I will not go further, just these basic ones are important. There are also other skills like programming, for example. These are more advanced ones. And we are seeing more and more jobs, new jobs coming now in the marketplace that are more technically driven. But focus on these basic IT skills. So to sum up, communication skills, problem solving, and IT.
Great. So I think you're all going to see a little bit of a common theme with what we think are the most important soft skills, because much like Dr. Bothaina and Amar, I have ranked communication and interpersonal skills as my #1. You know, the ability to communicate effectively, it just can't be overrated. And like Amar said, it's not just about speaking, it's about listening, it's writing, and like Dr. Bothaina said, there's also an element of emotional intelligence in communication and interpersonal skills. I think if you have an inclusive approach to your tasks and projects in the workplace, you're going to build better relationships, and having positive relationships in the workplace is so useful to you throughout your career. So I would definitely encourage that one. My second one was resilience, and that's the ability to recover quickly from difficult situations. Being able to deliver on commitments even when you've got a lot of changes and a lot of multiple competing priorities. It really is just the modern landscape for an organisation now. It's what you have to expect to deal with. You're going to be coping with challenges and problems and having a positive attitude, learning from any failures you have and coming back stronger is only going to make you more motivated, make you a better problem solver, and make you more valuable to an organisation as well. I think if the pandemic has taught us anything particularly, resilience and being able to recover under some difficult changing conditions is certainly a very important soft skill for us all. Then I had innovation and problem solving. So like Amar said, problems are always going to arise. Within the workplace, a lot of managers will prefer to have someone come to them with a problem, but then with options for a solution presented at the same time. And innovation in the workplace is obviously critical as well, like Dr. Bothaina mentioned. The moving progress towards AI and different technology, like Amar mentioned, are only going to mean that we all need to be able to use different software, work with different devices and machines, and we need to be able to identify how we can put efficiencies into those processes and into that particular software to be able to get the best out of our work and for our organisation. And the last one that I had was flexibility and adaptability as well, which is really demonstrating an ability and willingness to embrace new tasks and new challenges calmly. Flexible employees, they're really willing to help out wherever they need it and take on extra responsibilities. They'll do tasks that aren't in their job description if someone asks them to. Those are the types of people that organisations want. So being able to be flexible is really important. So they were my sort of top 4. Thanks.
you all for that. It's nice to actually hear common themes again amongst your different backgrounds and perspectives. I think we can all agree that communication is extremely important, regardless of where you're at or where you're going. We know communication will always be important. So thank you all for that. Moving on to the next question. Are there any changes in soft skills required, not only in a post-pandemic world, but also generally for the future? Dr. Bothaina?
Yeah, as I said before, since we are living the new era of the fourth revolution, as you, the word came of revolution. The first one was depending on the agriculture, and the second one depending on electricity, and the third one was depending on digitalization, and the fourth one is a combination between digitalization and processing. Like I said, since we are talking to a fresh, maybe graduate having master degree or students within universities, they need to read a lot about what is going on and how does the labor markets will need within 5 to 10 years. Like within 2 days, we're just talking about 2030, and now we are almost ending 2020. So things are changing rapidly. Everything is changing, hopefully changing to the positive side. So the soft skills will have also 180-degree facelift, let's say. And as my friends, Mr. Amar and Tanya mentioned, soft skills with problem solving, communication, adaptation is very important, and understanding what is going on is very important. And this will come through reading a lot of research and study and surveys. The surveys will give us most important, let's say, indicators that what is going on, and from different angle and perspectives. So from different research that I read among Deloitte, Stanford University, World Forum Economic in Davos, there are a lot of things talking about the soft skills related to students, related to the workers, related to the decision makers and takers. They have to change their approach in dealing with people within their organization or the school, education field, finance and banking, especially entrepreneur as well, because they are presenting 25% of the economic growth in any country. Therefore, creativity, innovation, problem solving, communication, these are the most important soft skills that we needed in the new era. Since I said we are competing with robots and systems, not a human being anymore, you have to have also an insight and good reading about the new technique which is entering the market. I'm sure everybody heard about the blockchain, the e-commerce, the DNA, the genome, the new genome in the medicine. These things need a lot of reading. So the most important skills now, or let's say the new one, it's reading. So reading about these things will give you an insight and a full information regarding the new technique and what does the market need. It's not anymore, let's be honest with ourselves and among the students that are listening to us. It's not anymore anything that we inherited and saying and talking and repeating about it. We have to face the reality and be ready to cascade and tailor the solution for the new era. This should be among our education system, our training and development program. Organizations these days have to change their strategy in developing their people, especially when they want to initiate and write the strategic plan for the development of their employee to enable them to be ready to face the new era in the coming years. So again, as my friend saying, Ammar and Tanya saying about the most essential soft skills that we mentioned at the beginning of this session, we need to continue depend on them because they are vital and they are very important to succeed in our work life.
Thank you. Amar? Are you still with us, Amar? I see.
The question of the transition between where we were and now how things are changing. And I think as communities and as a whole, we were waiting for this change. And what the pandemic did is nothing but accelerate this change and make it happen much more faster than we thought. And the need for digital skills and digital awareness couldn't be overemphasized. It's important that we start learning about all these new technologies that are being used. Like what Dr. Bothaina said, now we're going to have all these robots and machines competing with us. So probably we have to look at what would be our competitive advantage as human beings. And one of the skills I can think of is emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is extremely important because if we are transitioning into a world full of technology and robots and machines, so what will make you stand out is your human being nature. And emotional intelligence is probably skill number one, I think, that will make us stand out. And by emotional intelligence, I mean the ability to be aware of, understand, control, and express your feelings and emotions. Not only your feelings and emotions, but also the feelings and emotions of others. You know, usually, because at work we are always working in a team. You will always work in a team because now today you are at university. Probably you have a choice to work as an individual or as a team. Sometimes your teacher asks you to either work alone or work within a team. But tomorrow, when you start work, you will definitely be working in teams. You will no longer have the option to work alone. Most projects, most companies, organizations, they value so much teamwork that all tasks and projects or most of them are given to teams. So you'll be working in teams, whether directly or indirectly. So I think emotional intelligence is particularly important because a lot of people argue that the future of work is collaborative. It has always been, and I think it will still continue to be. And strong emotional intelligence means we will be better able to connect, interact, and work with others. Back to you.
Great. So I think Dr. Bothaina and Amar have covered a lot of the points that I was going to make as well there on what I think will change in a post-pandemic landscape from a soft skills perspective. I mean, at a high level, I thought it's those intangible human skills that become more important. You know, emotional intelligence, I had that down as well. Curiosity, so that lifelong learning that Dr. Bothaina mentioned, and being interested and reading widely to understand what's happening in the world and what's changing, and being able to kind of digest that and make that make sense to you. Creativity and innovation, particularly as Amar said, we're using more virtual ways to interact with each other and get our work done. You need to be able to understand those different platforms and how to use them effectively, but also adaptability, because post-pandemic, we're going to see a lot of variability in the workforce, I think. There may be second waves. Different countries will be in different spaces in their recovery. There'll be a multitude of flexible work arrangements for your team members, both locally and broadly, as some people have extra at-home responsibilities with their children with teaching if they're not back at school full-time, or they've got higher risk people in their household. So you have to be able to work across all of those different situations successfully and positively. So I think if you can continue to stay involved and up to date with your workplace and organisations and what's happening in the world, you'll be in a good space. Thanks.
Thank you all for your contributions to that question. I think a few takeaways are it's important to obviously read widely, as Dr. Bothaina said, to know the changes and to further enhance the human skills, as both Amar, Tanya, and Dr. Bothaina all emphasized. So next question to the three of you. In your opinion, how can we continue developing our soft skills? So Dr. Bothaina, to you.
Yeah, this is very important questions, and we have to, again, we have to attend a lot of seminars and training programs that will help us to develop and enhance our skills. Soft skills, there was a lecture saying where we can get soft skills. That was from Dr. Sweden. He's a very famous and popular coach in the Middle East, and I think also in the state of Europe. He wants to know the right source of gaining the soft skills, whether it's a school or it is from home or it is from the mosque. So he did a survey among people and asked this question: where do you think we can gain the soft skills? So everybody has their own, let's say, opinion and their thoughts, but all of them agreed that soft skills can be called people skills and life skills, because these type of skills you can develop it and gain it among your colleagues, family, friends, bosses. So this is very important to have a lot of gathering, a lot of conferences, a lot of workshops that will enhance our ability to gain the soft skills. Also continuous reading, because I think many people in Qatar now saying Dr. Bothaina always advise us with reading, because really reading is shaped my character, and it will make you different and unique, because it will enable you how to talk, how to present yourself. It will add to your knowledge a lot of numbers, facts, results. This will all shape your character while you are talking, and will make you a different person among others, and will differentiate you. I'm sure you will note that during your reading, because you are living not only one life, like Shakespeare said. You are living a lot of lives once you read a book. So you will develop it among these let's say points: mosque, community, houses, school, university, and keep continuous to read and practice. Practice public speaking. Always stay as the body. Arab word, we appreciate and talk and saying we are right. So practice listening. Your breathe to others and just listen. Use keep asking questions, finding solution. Always practice this. Shape your way of thinking. As a
It seems Dr. Bothaina might have a few connection issues. Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Bothaina, if you finished, then we will move on to Amar.
yes.
Okay. Thank you, Bothaina. Okay, for this question, how can we continue? It's a very good question. How can we continue to develop our skills? Because the good thing about soft skills, like Tanya, my colleague Tanya said earlier, is that soft skills can be learned, can be developed. That's the good news. You are not born with soft skills, so thank God. It's something that you can learn, you can develop, and from this definition or from this information, I will base my advice. So my advice to you as students is to practice. Developing soft skills come, in my opinion, by practicing. It's like, for me, soft skills are like learning how to drive a car or learning how to swim. It's important to read about them, like Dr. Bothaina said at the beginning, but then you have to take that reading and that knowledge and practice it. And how can you practice it in your situation? If I put myself in your shoes, is I'll give you two pieces of advice. The first advice is take on projects. So be involved. Try to find a project or a task or something to work on, either as a leader or as part of the team. Today, all you are at university, so look at all the departments of your university, the clubs at your university, see if there's something going on, if the university is would like to take on a project or maybe a community work, be part of that project. Your teachers, I'm sure your lecturers will give you a lot of work, presentations. Be at the forefront, be the one who presents, lead, take initiative. Outside the university, you can do, you can get some experience, like summer internships. You can volunteer, for example. There are many organizations in Qatar, alhamdulillah. Qatar is full of, there are many things happening in Qatar, and there are so many organizations that are looking for volunteers. Injaz, the organization I work for, we look for volunteers on a regular basis. So volunteer with these organizations. There's Celatec, they are a very good organization you can volunteer with. Many government entities and ministries. There are a lot of things happening, projects. Go there and be part of these projects. The only way you're going to develop your soft skills is through practice. And if you are involved in this kind of projects, you will practice all these skills. You will learn how to talk to others. You will get exposed to different mentalities, different nationalities, different genders. And this is the only way you're going to develop your skills. The second tip I want to give you, a piece of advice, is to seek feedback. Okay, get feedback. Get feedback from your friends, get feedback from your teachers, get feedback from your colleagues, get feedback from the great team that you have, the career development team at QCDC and HBKU. Get feedback from them. Go there. If you have a CV that you are not sure of, take it and ask them to give you feedback on it. And feedback is the only way for me, in my experience, or is the most important tool to develop and keep improving. But be careful with feedback. There's a trick. When you go and ask for feedback, you have to be ready for it, you know, because feedback, sometimes it can be positive, sometimes it can be negative. It's the same like when you look at yourself in the mirror, you know, you don't see yourself always beautiful, you know, sometimes you see yourself beautiful, sometimes you see things that you don't like, okay, and you say, okay, I'm going to work on it. So when you seek feedback, be ready for the negative comments or the points where they're going to ask you to improve. And believe me, you want to hear the negative ones more than the positive ones, because with the positive ones, you will not improve. But with the negative ones, these are the points you will work on and you will improve, and you will increase your chances of being successful, whether as a person or as a future employee or an entrepreneur.
Great. So I think for me, when I thought about how you can continue to develop your soft skills, you all need to be proactive to continue to develop your soft skills. You can't get complacent and get to a point where you think, oh yes, I'm good at communicating, I don't need to put any more effort into that. Stay curious and be a continuous lifelong learner. I'm sure I keep saying that, but it's so important because there's always room to develop and always things that you can learn. If you meet someone who's a particularly good problem solver, speak to them. Ask them to be your mentor. Reach out to them when you have a problem. Get their advice on how they would approach it or how they would solve it. You know, stay up to date with research, read broadly, but don't just read. You know, think about the key points of what you're reading and how you can apply it to yourself, your career, your job, your organization. That's where the value really is. It's that reflection and thinking about those key points. Be proactive in the skills you want to master. We can always improve. Being a better communicator, more innovative, a more inclusive team player, it's only going to help your career and your personal relationships. So investing time into developing your soft skills is never going to be wasted time, and you certainly have a lot of different avenues you can go to. I know for me, with my career and developing soft skills and hard skills, but soft skills particularly, we kind of take a 70%, 20%, 10% approach. So if possible, 70% of your effort should be based on experience. So like Amar says, get involved with projects, organizations, try to practice the skills that you're trying to improve. And then 20% is the feedback and reflection. So ask others for their opinion on how you handled a situation or how your communication was. When you do read, reflect on what you've learned and apply it. And then the last 10 is the formal training and learning. So they're taking courses in communication skills or how to build interpersonal relationships. So there's a few different ways you can do it. So really, just to summarize, I would say make sure that you continue to look at your skills, practice them continuously, observe others and mimic their positive behaviours. Also, it's important to set milestone goals along the way to improve those soft skills. I think if you can reflect back on your own improvement and changes as a result of the effort you're putting in, you're only going to be more likely to continue and understand your development, and then find resources to help you learn as well. That was me. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Go ahead, Sini.
Go ahead. I think it's an increasingly important topic that we can talk for hours and hours. We just need to be mindful about the time that we have left. And I'm sure, Sabika, you have a great number of questions coming in. So I think it's time to open the floor and to engage more with our attendees.
For sure. I already have a couple of questions lined up, actually, so I could just get into it. So here's a question from one of our students. He says that I have experience where volunteering was a minus in terms of salary negotiation. Somehow it gives the impression to the employer that I was okay doing something for free. So they thought that it may not be a big deal for me if I get paid less for doing the same thing that I was giving for free. So how can volunteering experience be a positive point in terms of salary? Or how can we mitigate this? It's a tough one.
I was going to say my instant thought is perhaps that was a company that didn't have the kind of culture that you would like to work for, and perhaps it would be worthwhile applying elsewhere, because I don't think that that is the kind of approach that I would take as a recruiter in HR for an organisation. You know, volunteering shows that you're keen and interested to learn and help others, and that's only a positive point. And I think if you found yourself in that situation, I would reframe the discussion and say, yes, while I was happy to do it without pay, it was because I was building my experience in that area. Now that I have it, I, expect to be remunerated adequately, with the going market rate. That's probably what I would say there.
Anyone else adding anything, or shall I go to the next question? Okay, the next question is, when approaching companies with internships, companies that don't have an internship program, how can we make it an attractive offer to employers? As employers yourselves, what would change your mind or make you consider someone coming up with an internship offer?
I think internships I think the first thing to do is to do your research. Not all companies offer internship opportunities, so you have to do your research. Which ones are offering internships? Don't be too demanding. Don't, for example, go to the big companies like Ooredoo, Qatar Airways, these big, large companies. Start with small size, medium size companies, or even go to NGOs. I really recommend to look for NGOs, non-government organizations and non-profit organizations, also ministry departments. These are the kind of companies or organizations that offer a lot of internship opportunities. And be smart about how you approach the internship, because the internship is, for me and for all employers, it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation, because for an internship, you have a fresh graduate who can do some of the tasks at sometimes a very small fee or at no fee at all. There are paid internships and unpaid internships. So be open to both opportunities. And it's also good for you because you'll get to learn and you'll get to get exposure to the workplace. And I will share with you a story. Actually, one of the programs we offer at Injaz Qatar is something called Job Shadow Day, or job shadowing, where we get students and take them to spend one day in one of the partner with. And one of them, he was so good during his internship. It was just one day, but he was so good that he made a very good impression.
I think Amar must be experiencing
His research about the company before the company. So he ended up with a job offer.
Thank you for that. I have a question that's come through that I will address to the panelists, and then I can speak to as well afterwards. So the question is, I love learning from different courses and I have a lot of certificates. Should I list all of them on my application or on my resume, or should I list just a few? Would it look awkward? For example, self-development, leadership, Adobe skills, programming, Toastmasters, etc. So I'll address this to the panel and then I can add to it afterwards. So Dr. Bothaina or Amar or Tanya, if you've got any thoughts on that.
I think it depends. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, doctor.
Yeah, it is. It is a tricky question, by the way, but as based on my experience and as a HR expert, I think listing for, let's say, fresh graduate or a person with 2 to 3 years, it's important to list all of them. Because it will give you a credibility and it will give you some advantage among other applicants, because we are looking for people with a lot of soft skills they have, because especially when you are a fresh graduate, you don't know what to write in the CV, what experience directly to the core position that we are looking for. So listing all these soft skills that you have will enable us to you among others, and we will give you the privilege among others. So it's very important to list all the things that you have learned, attending different development programs, conferences, volunteering sites, everything put in your CV when you are a fresh graduate. This is my advice. But once you reach a senior management level or middle management level, focus on that as well as in your experience, education, qualification, work experience, as well as the soft skills, especially in the leadership position. Also, we need people with high numbers of soft skills. So when we go to the working life journey, we have specific things at the beginning of the life cycle of the work life cycle, and we have a specific thing in the senior leadership position, and in the middle we like to have a mixture of soft and hard skills. But as I said again, list it all.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Bothaina. Tanya or Amar, would you like to add anything?
Sorry, I had an internet connection problem. What was the question? Can you repeat the question?
Sure. The question is, should they include everything that they have done on their application? So they said they've been involved in a lot of different courses, volunteer work, training programs, and so forth. Should they include them all or only list a few?
Okay, are we talking about the CV, for a CV, or for which kind of application? For a CV, okay. My advice for you is recruiters usually don't have a lot of time to look at your CV. They will have only a few seconds, especially in big companies. So my advice to you is to put what you think are the most attractive points to the employer and not to you. Okay, so list all your the things you've done, the internships, the certificates, and everything, and choose which one you think are most important to the specific company. One of the mistakes that people make, and especially young people, is that they have only one CV or one application. Okay, they use it for all the kinds of jobs and internships. So try to have to customize your application or your CV to the employer or to the university you are sending your application to make it fit their requirements. So look at the most important things. We usually say that a CV is a way to, or your application is a way to sell yourself. So put the ones that are the most attractive. That's my advice. I mean, be as concise and as brief as possible. That's my advice.
Yes, I was going to say prioritize the information that you put on your CV to the role, and also try to include the higher level, more involved courses and certificates above the smaller ones. You know, if it was like a one-day course, I wouldn't be including that over, you know, a longer term course, and certainly focusing on what makes sense for the role, or kind of collating like kind of courses or certificates together and not listing what they actually are, but something along the lines of, you know, extensive learning in this area, that area, that area, that area. And then, you know, when they get to the interview or when they call you to do a phone screening, that's when you can go into more information if they ask for it. My advice.
Excellent advice from all three of you. Thank you for your contributions. And I would like to also mention to the students again to book in, if you'd like, for an appointment, and we can go over your CV with you. I am mindful of time, and it is almost 6 o'clock. So I would like to just ask the panelists if they have any final words before we close out for today.
Ending this great discussion among my friends, Mr. Amar and Tanya, and I would like to thank you for having us for this type of discussion. My advice to our audience: life is not easy, and I think we're living in an era which seems very difficult and to live and survive. Many challenges are coming. I will be very honest and realistic with all of us. Our during studying life, or let's say days, it was much easier than what is today. The competition is too high, and you have to grab the opportunity by yourself. You have to equip yourself with the strong skills and education, and don't listen to what is the trend now. The talent can be replaced by education certificate, as Mr. Donald Trump saying we can hire people for their talent, not because of their education or certificate. In this region, particularly in this part of the region, GCC, any employer will look at your education certificate. Otherwise, you will not get a senior level of positions. So continue study. This is very important. We talk about soft skills and how important they are, but also if the applicant doesn't have the education qualification in terms of bachelor or master or PhD, I think the opinion will shift to the people who have it, because this will differentiate the person from his point of view, his qualification. Soft skills can be gained, and it is very, let's say, win tools. But again, I insist people to study and gain a bachelor degree. It's very important, especially in Arab world, in the state and Europe is different. Let's say methodology or approach, and this is from my personal experience. It's very important to have the education certificate, and wish you all the luck and be ready. Massive change are coming, and I can see it from my reading and attending a lot of seminars and conferences via Zoom or webinar. There are a lot of things are coming and change. Be ready for that. Nothing impossible, but nothing is free. You have to pay attention for everything, work hard, study hard, and focus more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bothaina. And Amar and Tanya, if you've got a very brief final couple of words, and then we will close out.
Tanya, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, go forth and conquer, everybody. Finish your degree, be positive, be hungry, you know, get out there and make a difference in the world any way you can. And just remember that you are great and you all have a contribution to make. So stay positive, and thank you for attending.
Yeah, same message from me. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you. Quickly, my advice to you is to network. Do a lot of networking. The fact that you are here today, it means that you are good at it. So get to know more people, because the more people you know, the more job prospects you will be exposed to. And keep learning. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
And on behalf of QCDC, my colleague Sini and I would like to extend our deepest thank you to our extraordinary 3 panelists today. Your insights have proved incredibly useful for our students, and I am sure that they were furiously taking notes and will take on board your guidance. So thank you again so much for taking your time out of your day to provide these students with the guidance. And also, thank you to Sabika on behalf of HBKU for organizing this event. Again, we thank you for reaching out to QCDC, and we know that the students are very appreciative of the efforts. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And on behalf of CIS, both to QCDC and our panelists. And thank you, everyone, for attending. And we'll call it a good night. Have a great evening today. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.